Okay. Hope you are able to see the screen.
Yes, we can.
You all are familiar with the roles. Roles are the thing that is a hierarchy of thing. Means uh, just like in a company we have a different roles. Just like first comes CEO, then we have HR managers, and then means project managers, then managers, then tech leads, then employees, something like that. Means there is a hierarchy of the things. So these things comes under the roles section. So for roles, we need a different type of user. So let's first create some users in the Salesforce, so that after that we can define the roles. Now let's first create the roles, then we create a user and assign the roles to them. Okay, here click on setup roles. Okay, the role CA is already present. Let's me add another role here called manager. Okay. Here is the we define that what is the permission that users in these roles can view all the contacts associated with the account with their own, regardless who own the contacts, or there is a small kind of permission, or user with this role edit all the contact associated with the accounts that they own, and regardless to who comes, who owns that contact. Means it's just a kind of permission. Just give right now, just give the view all thing. And once we talk about the reports, then it will comes play a role, that it's a what we have to display on the reports. When we discuss about the reports, then we discuss about these things. I have to save. Okay. And where is that? Where is
You should extend the class.
expand the
Extend the plus next
oh
to seal. Yeah.
this is my manager, and then I add then I'm adding a new role called okay. Now I created the roles. Let console this triggers. Okay, I created the CO is already present. I created a new role, manager and technical lead. I created the three roles. So what's the means? The roles are just have to means design is to design the hierarchy in exist in a particular organization. So what's the mean of role in the Salesforce data security? In the Salesforce data security, the roles are the provides that means higher the roles means the person who is higher on the role can able to see the records which is present below that roles. Means suppose a person who is a CEO can able to see all the records of these people created by these roles of, and a person who is a manager who able to see the technical lead, but who is a technical lead, the user who belongs to a technical lead cannot able to see the managers records. So let's see how it goes. For that we need to create a three user. First is our system admin. Second, the testing user that we have created, we just assign that manager to them, and I'm going to create a new user with a technical lead role to it. So let's go here, and first we assign our main user as a CEO. So for we have a field called role. Let's edit it and assign that role, assign a role to him. Then we have our testing user. Edit and assign a manager role to him. And let's create another user. Before creating another user, since we have only 2 licenses, so let's first deactivate this user so that I can able to create a new user with this license. Remember, we have only 2 licenses for the Salesforce, that's why. And we make it as a technical lead. Salesforce profile will be a standard user clone. And hit the save. Okay. Now I created one more user called technical lead user, and with the role of technical lead and having the same profile as the we created. We can change the profile; it's no issue. But right now we're just discussing about the roles, so we just created or we are focusing on the roles. And let me reset the password for him. Whenever we create a user, it will send an email and for the password. Okay, so now we have 3 users. Currently logging. Let's log out from here and log in my main user with this. I'm going to log in with my main user to this, and in the incognito mode from here, incognito mode, I'm going to log in with my testing user. That is 1122. Oh, sorry. Actually, I disabled the user. That's why not let me. Finger is showing that a message that your user has been disabled. For that, first we need to disable this user. Quite, I know that's quite complicated. Means disabling, enabling, because we have a less limited license. That's why we need to do something like that. It's disable, then enable, then disable. So for the testing purpose, we can do, but in the real case, we all have all the users are enabled. So let's log in. Okay. Now again, you have to go to user. Sorry, hold on. Sharing. Sharing setting. Okay. So as you can see that for granting access using the role hierarchy, we need to enable this thing. We need to enable this uh, grant access using hierarchies. If you do checkbox this, then it will follow that rule. So since for the employee records, I already checked that thing. It means that it will follow the accessing of a means accessing for the employee records on the basis of hierarchy. And what will be the thing is that it should be public read only. Means user can see the records. User can see the records, but it's still not able to edit it. So this one is the record, and since my in the incognito mode, I'm a user testing user, and I can able to see the records, which is, let me go to the all records so that I can see the owner of them. Yeah, I can able to see the records, and when I was trying to edit, since this is not owned by me, and it will throw an error. And let's do a private, make it private. Okay, when it's become private, this I can only created by my user, but I'm not owning that record. How can this possible? Yeah, owner. I can only see the records which I owns. Now now let's create some records which is belongs to our new user. So let's do logout from here, and I'm going to deactivate this user and going to activate my technical lead user. And again with the technical lead. I'm going to get one more record. So I created 2 records with this user, and I'm again going to. This is quite lengthy. It's only due to that fact that we have only 2 licenses and we need to deactivate and activate one. That's why. I'm deactivating our technical lead user and activating our testing user. I'm going to log out from here and log in with my testing user. Yeah, here you can see that he can able to see the records which is created by technical lead. Yeah, you can see that even I make the where is the sharing setting? Yeah, even I make the private, but still he is able to see the records which is created by some different user, right? So that's the role of hierarchy. Since this our testing user is has a role of manager. If I look at that, testing user has the role of manager, and testing user has the role of manager, and our technical lead user has the role of technical lead. And according to our role hierarchy, uh, according to a role hierarchy, that our manager is above the technical lead. So that due to this reason, he is able to see the records. Suppose I just go here and remove this grant access using hierarchies. Okay, let's refresh. It will take some time. Yeah, now he will not able to see those record which is not created by which is not under them. Similarly, if I create a records which is means similarly, as you see, can for the our that our technical lead, he created 2 records, and when I go to there and see that, I can only see the records, only 2 records over there, but he will not able to see the records which is created by its managers, because he is above in their role. And so what I point here, I want to make here that this is the means this for this option, granting access using hierarchies. It's only due to the it's only for the fact that we are giving the visibility permission to the records on the basis of hierarchy. What does it means? That the person who is above the hierarchy can able to see the records who is below that hierarchy. That's the only thing it means. And how it's happening, it's happening on the basis of roles, where the person who is above the role can able to see the records who is below that role, but vice versa is not true. Means the person who is below the role cannot able to see the records who is above the role. And it is only happening if we make this one as a check, and it should be private. Thereafter it will work. Suppose I will make it public, then it doesn't means that if I make it checked or unchecked. Let's see. Okay. Suppose I make this public, then its role doesn't matter. Now you can see that I'm logged in with the testing user. I'm logged in as a testing user, and he can able to see every records, even it is created by its manager, even it's created by its CEO, even it's created by its tech under the person who is lies below them. So that's the difference between them. This role hierarchy will work only if it is a private, and private means the user can able to see his own records, but still he wants to see the records which is created by their juniors or the person who is comes below their under their roles. For that, we just have need to check enable the grant access using hierarchies, and for that we need to make it private, so it comes to be active. We need to make it private. You can see when I make it private, it become applicable. It's taking some time. Now it's private. Okay, when I make it private, it will able to see that records which is created by them, that is the testing user, and the records which is created by the person created by the who is below that user. So that's the thing. After that, we have a another thing. Let's make this thing disabled so that he can able to see only the records which is created by them. And we are going to create some sharing rules.
Hey,
We
Siraj,
have, hmm?
I have a quick question. I was sleepy a little bit, sorry. So suppose there's a technical lead and it's private. His manager is able to see or not? You said he
No,
still can
manager
see,
will
right?
not able to see. No, manager will not able to see. If we suppose technical lead created some records, and here it is private, and this checkbox is false, means it is false, then manager will not able to see the records. Since here I make it private and it is false, and I'm go to here and do a refresh.
But if it is private, anyways, even anybody cannot see it. No one can see it. It doesn't have to be manager or not.
Yeah, it does not have to be managed. It doesn't mean that.
Okay, yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Now we have another thing that another small thing that we have uh, how we create the exceptions in the role hierarchy. Suppose I just make it private, and uh, grant access, giving the grant access means that we are giving the access on the basis of role hierarchy. But sometimes we don't want to give the access on the basis of role hierarchy. We want to give the access of record on the basis of some conditions. So let's have a look on that. For that, we have a thing called sharing rules. And sharing rules, we need to find our object here. Just go and click on this employee object. When you click on the employee object, you can see there is an option called sharing rules, and you have to just click on new. Mm, let's check what are the fields available so they can design this area. Okay, we have let's open one of the record. We have a last name domain. Let's check the domain. Okay, on the basis of domain, I'm going to share the records. I'm giving a name, domain sharing. Okay, here is it is based on the record owner or based on some criteria. We are giving it based on some criteria. And on the basis of domain equals to gmail.com. Okay, it will check the domain equal to gmail.com. Then what it will do, it will share the roles who is a manager. Okay, what does it mean that yeah, I'm creating a sharing rule having the name and label domain sharing. From that, I just checking that if any other record who is whose domain is gmail.com get shared with a person who having a role manager. That's it. Okay, it doesn't mean that whoever with the owner of that user. It doesn't mean that. It's not about the hierarchy. It's about the records who is matching the criteria. That's it. If criteria match, the records will be shared. And what will be the access level? You can see that only a read or write. It's simply just like previously you learned that means whenever rewrite, he has a permission to edit the records and read the records. And if we have only read only, then we have a read only. Currently, I just make it read only and hit the save. Okay, it will take some time for recalculations. Okay, let's come back here and I'm doing a refresh. Let's add one more column here. I can add because it's not the system admin, that's why. Let's in the all view, let's add one more column. Select fields to display. I'm just along with a domain. I'm also going to add a domain and just remove the contact field. It's not needed. And that's it. Let's add state to city state and let's set the domain. Save. Okay, we have a domain. I created this domain. Sorry, I created the list view and I'm coming here and doing a refresh. Means I am logging with our testing user. And why it's not showing? It should show our latest. Let me log out and log in. It's a testing user and we will not able to see the columns. Why it's not able to see the columns? State city, but not able to see the owner domain field. Should I remove the permission? Let me check why not able to see the domain field. Yeah, that's why. Let's previously we just make changes to hide. That's why. Okay, we have a field called this one, and let's do a small changes over here. Let's go to this. Um, First, let's come here and I do make changes. Domain by technical lead null. What is it? Oh, I would remember. Oh shit, there is a one more thing. Oh, sorry for that. Okay. So now you can see that on the basis of domain, he is able to see this record. Yeah. So the point is here that he is able to see the records on the basis of sharing rules. Since I created a sharing rule on the employee object. I created a sharing rule on the employee object that when the domain is equals to gmail.com, then this record gets shared with the role manager, and the permission would be read only. So what it will do, I just created another user, means whatever the another user, I just for that another user, I just make the domain to gmail.com so that I can demonstrate. I just make the domain name as a gmail.com. So, and once becomes a domain name as gmail.com, it will be shared with this user. That that's how we add some exceptions over our sharing, and how we add some tweaks whenever we are working with the sharing settings or sharing rules. So these kind of things are available in our sharing. User, sorry, sharing. Hmm. Okay, so all the what means we have learned about that three things, that we have learned about that OWT, we learned about the granting access using hierarchies, and we also learn about that granting access using sharing rules. Yeah, these three things we have learned about that thing. So in that what we have seen that whenever we are working with the organization wide address, it will be more vast, means we just have to make it public, private, private, public read only, and public read write. These three things we are working on it, and in that we have to just give the means whenever we have a public read write, we just user able to see all the records either owned by them or not owned by them, just able to see the records, and also make the changes if he has a public read write permission. Else if he has only public read permission, then he will only see the records but are not able to make any changes. And if I make them private, he will only able to see the records which is owned by them. Then we have a and one more permission extension in this in this OWD, that we can also give the permission on the basis of access hierarchies, and on the basis of hierarchies. For that we need to set up the rules Roles are the things that are defined that hierarchy in any organization, means who is the parent of whom, which role is parent of that, which role is more important, something like that. You all are familiar about the roles, what is the role, importance of a roles in any organization. So there is nothing to explain about that. So the thing which I happen in the Salesforce is that the roles have a special character, means on the basis of hierarchy we are able to see, we are able to share the records, or we are able to grant access the records on the basis of hierarchy. What does it means? That the records which is created by the lower hierarchies are able to visible by the users who are belongs to some hierarchy. Similar, as you can see that when I make it grant access by role hierarchies, then you are able to, then the records which is created by the technical leads are visible to the manager, but vice versa is not true. Means the technical leads cannot able to see the records which is created by the either by the manager or by the CEO. But if any role comes and below that technical lead, suppose employee or lead or junior lead or something like that, any roles which is below that, so he can able to see the records which is comes below that technical leads. And for in order to apply those sharing, we always have this thing to be private, because if I make this as a public, then grant access will not it doesn't mean either it will be true or it will be false. It doesn't means that. Okay. So apart from that, we have also learned about that what is the sharing rules. In order to define the sharing rules, uh, we just have to go here and create a sharing rules on the basis of we in the sharing rule we define a criteria. We define a criteria. What will be the criteria? And suppose here I just defined the criteria that whenever the domain is equal to gmail.com, it will share that records to that manager. That's the very simple thing. We just define that rule, and on the basis of rule we are able to share the records. In that share the records to the on the basis of for this rule, we share the records to the this role. And what will be the access level? Access level will only be read only. As you can see that the record is shared to him, but still he will able to uh, only to read that record. When I'm trying to make save, it will throw error, insufficient access right now. Even he's a manager, he is a parent of means, even he is a what we can say that is a manager or something, means above the role above the role of that technical lead, but still he was not able to edit the record, but he can see the records. So it happens only because we have a only read only permission here. That's why he is able only to see the records, and that's it. That's it related to that how we define the means how we work on the sharing rules on the basis of criteria or hierarchies or OWD. These three types of things are work on the sharing things. Okay. So any questions?
I have one question.
Yeah.
This OWD, and
Mhm.
if you are setting the sharing rule, I mean, if you are setting the security here, why we are using the sharing rule? They are not the same thing.
Uh, yeah, they are not the same things. They are just suppose I just when it is still private, means when it is made it as a private, then this manager, this person can able to see the records which is created by them, which is can able to see the record which he owns, else he will not able to see the records. But still we want some thing that we want some there's a requirement that he can able to see some other records which is not owned by them. So for that we define some for that we define some rules over there. That's why we design a sharing rule for them, or we or we design some what we can say that role hierarchies. So only to give the permission to that user so he can see the records which he don't own. For that we have two conditions available over here: either be share via role hierarchy or by a sharing setting. So, or by sharing rules. That's two things is only only for that to share the records which he don't owns. Else those things are not needed. I got my point.
Do you mean like we are setting the rule, the sharing rule, according to that, or WD will be affected?
Yeah. Yeah, correct.
I got it. Thank you. And then if these are private and the role hierarchy is also checked, can the manager see?
Yeah, he can see. If I check this, then let me check.
Even if they are private, okay.
Yeah, even if I can able see. If I make it check, then he will able to see all the records which is created by the users who are below the hierarchy. So
Okay.
in order to show the example, that's why I make it unchecked. Else he will see the two records over, because the technical user created two records. So in order to you guys to understand that what's the difference, so that's why I just make it unchecked.
Siraj, I asked the same question, I guess, but you said it's not going to be visible if it is private, either manager or below that.
No, it will be visible.
Okay.
If I checked it, it start visible if it is below that thing. Actually, the thing granting access using hierarchies or this sharing rules, both are work only if it is a private.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they are increasing the permissions, not decreasing the permissions. They are increasing the visibility. They are not decreasing the.
Only thing about the hierarchy is whenever it's public, there is no need to mark hierarchy because it's already public.
Suraj,
Yeah.
in the sharing list, I can see some of the hierarchies already selected, right? For some
Sharing
of,
list. Yeah, this one.
yeah, this list, I think.
This list.
So we cannot deselect them, right? So
yeah. Actually, these are the out of box things.
Default. So could you please explain comparing one of these already checked ones with the employee one that we are working on?
Okay. Still, I'm not getting. You want to demonstrate me using these objects, some of these objects?
Yeah.
Or okay.
They are already checked, so I try to figure out the difference between these ones and the one we try to modify.
Both are the same. Nothing. No, nothing will change.
So
let's see the records, which is any other. Actually, in order to demonstrate that record which is out of box things, I need to create a. Means I need to find some perfect example for that. So since there most of them are public read, right? Public read. So these are checked or unchecked, doesn't matter. Okay, you got my point. No, means these are most of them are public, and for that I need to check. Means I need to find just like activity. Activity is a private, so I need to check here. Okay, let's do here. This can be our object, for example. Else, actually, most of them are public, so it's okay. This is will be, or I should change it to private.
So here in this list, so the top ones already checked, right?
Yeah.
So they should obey the hierarchy rules, right? So it means when we create a role, using different different users.
Hmm.
So this hierarchy works for all those arrangements, right?
Yeah, works for all those arrangements.
So we cannot use this in any other way. So we cannot eliminate this grant access hierarchy rule. Even if we change these default internal access conditions.
Yeah, even we can change it. It's not going to happen. Actually, that's why it's actually that's due to this limitation we are going to create. Means the organization has going to force to create custom objects. That is because whenever Salesforce provides some out of box things, out of box objects, they have some force something to work over. That's just like permissions, some special types of lookups. There are so many things that they are added in their out of box objects. These are the out of box objects, and these are created by the Salesforce. We can't make so many changes over here, so that's why we are going to create means that's lets us to create a custom objects and work with that. So we
Okay.
can't change this grant access hierarchy for this one. It will be applied always.
So when we consider on the base of the different scenarios, so the Salesforce creators already considered these scenarios, and these are the limitation for all these objects, right? So that's why they already or default they check this here hierarchies here. I understand. Is that correct? Okay, I see. Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions?
Is it break time, Siraj?
Yeah, it's a break time since you don't have any question. You guys don't have a question. So come back after 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. Hello everyone. Hope you come back or hello. Yep.
Here.
Okay. Okay. Let's move to the very small topic called manual sharing. Means whenever we have to share a single record for a particular user or particular role or particular something like that, at that time we just do a manual sharing. It's a very small topic, nothing else. Sorry. Sharing. For that, we have to first enable the manual sharing for the org. We just have to this manual sharing, record sharing, manual user record sharing. We have to just enable this and hit the save. When we hit the save and go to any of the records, then we can see an extra button comes up here. It's not visible. I'm testing this. Might be it's available on the page layout. I need to add it. Let's go to, sorry, here. First, let me add on the page layout. Yeah, here we are employee layout, and we have a button. Sharing button. Okay, so we need to add the sharing button. Our mobile view. It's already present. Sharing. Yeah, here it's present. Okay. Now I'm logging with this user. It's not. It's available here. Sharing, then why it's not? Well, let's do a logout and then relog might be. After that, it will be available. Sampled. That's okay. It's here available here, but I don't know why it's not available there. I don't know, but just think about the concept, leave it. What's the issue? I don't know. What? So I'm just logging with the testing user. Here you can see that testing user, and go to the my employee object, and here as I enabled as I enabled in the sharing setting, I enabled manual user sharing, user record sharing. So what it will be do, it will do that it will add a button over in the page layout called sharing button, and when I click on that, I can able to share this record to a particular user, and to a particular user or a group, or anyone I can to share. Just like you have to click add, and you have to just on the basis of roles. And suppose I want to share with currently I'm logging with a manager. Yeah, I'm still a manager. Then how can I share? Means I can share with a technical lead. He has a read-only permission. Okay, read-only permission is a manual sharing. So for that, I need to log in with the technical lead. So thereafter, you can see this record available to that, because since this record is not, if I click on this, since this record is created by testing user who is a manager of a technical lead, so by the condition he is not able to see the records, but from the sharing, I think he will be able to see the records. Let me check. Let me do a logout and reactivate this our user. Where is that?
Siraj, so we are giving user level permission to another user. So does it mean even if some data are private can be accessible? Because this is the
They are
highest.
still, yeah, it is still a private data. If I look at the sharing setting, I make it private. So only private data are going to be shared. Public are not going to be sharing. As I told you that these all kind of sharing, either hierarchy or sharing rules or manual sharing, these only work when we have a private setting over here.
Okay.
Means that only effective, else it doesn't mean that.
Actually, I'm lost. You changed so many screens. I don't know. I lost the track of which screen.
No, let me I will recalculate everything. No, sure. Just let me set up everything so that I will. Right now, I'm just deactivating. What I do that I just do while login with this user, manual testing user, I shared a record to this user, technical lead user, and since this testing user is a manager of that technical lead, so from this criteria, from user user setting, since I make it private, and either I don't enable the enable hierarchy, so what it will do, it will not the technical lead will not able to see the any manager's record, but by the manual sharing, I share that one of the record to the technical lead, and I'm just demonstrating that he is able to see that record. That's the thing. That's the point I'm going to make. So I just activate that user so that I can make login with that user. Yes, username is
So isn't it possible to add one more account, because every time you're deactivating, it's
no,
giving,
this is not possible.
because this is demo account.
Mhm.
We can't get like instructional account or something like that with more access.
I don't know. I haven't searched for that any instructor account, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see. No. Yeah, you can see that. Let me. Why it should be showing 3 records. Yeah. Why the manual sharing? He is able to see this record because since he don't owns the record, but since I do the manual sharing, so he is able to see the records but not able to make any changes because I just give him the only read only permission. Okay, so that's a very small means manual sharing is a very small thing. Means it just you have to just go and whenever we record you are working, just go and I'm not sure why it's not in the class lightning. That's an issue with the Salesforce. But if you go to the classic, in the classic view, you can see there is a button over here and any other record. There is a button. Yeah, there is a button. You can do sharing and yeah, add. Now since if you look at this this record, this is owned by a main user who is called known as, whose role is I think CEO. His role is CEO. Don't confuse me. This one is the main user, so it's not a testing user, it's a main user and his role is CEO. I'm going to share this record to the one of the user who is a belongs to technical lead, and that and giving him a read only permission or read write, just give him a read write permission. Okay, so what it will do when I come back to my this user, which is a technical lead user, and do a refresh over the all items. Yeah, you can see that this, since I shared this record, he will able to see that record, and he, since I give the permission to make changes, he will able to also make changes. Just say he is able to make changes. So it's a kind of example of a manual sharing, that we can share a one record with any user. It's not a sharing any criteria. Means on the criteria based sharing, we can share multiple records on the basis of some criteria. Hierarchical based sharing, it's based on the some ownership of that record. Criteria based sharing is based of some based of some criteria, and we have a manual sharing in which we share a single record. It doesn't matter that what's the ownership of the record. It doesn't matter that what's the criteria it's following. It's just a single record. It's going to share with some other user without any other thinking about any other thing. Okay.
In the lighting platform, under the users, I see the sharing button on the users in the lightning platform.
This
is it the same thing we are talking about? The
actually it's yeah, it's the same thing, but yeah, it's the same thing. We are sharing this user record to let someone else we can see that details.
Okay,
the same thing. It's available to every place. Means since I enabled that manual user sharing functionality, so it will be available to every place. Means any record you can see the sharing button. Any more questions? Else we will move to our next topic. Yes, actually it's a small thing.
Suraj,
Hmm?
sorry, I am a little bit lost. Could you please recap the importance or the role of the manual sharing?
Okay. So the basically thing that what we have learned in this organization-wide sharing, the sharing setting, what we have learned that we have organization-wide defaults, we have using hierarchies, and we have employee sharings. Okay, then this whenever we are working on the OWD, it's OWD or hierarchies, that it means that whenever we are working with the OWD or hierarchies, it's only work on the ownership of the records. Means this work only with the ownership of the records. Means the user who owns the record, either he will able to see the records or not able to see the records, right? Or hierarchies also work on the ownership of the records. Means if the record owned by a user who is either above the hierarchy or below the hierarchy. If it is a below the hierarchy, user can able to see. If the above the hierarchy, user can't able to see. Then we have learn about that third thing that is called this sharing rules. On the base, sharing rules does not work on the ownership. It's work on the criteria that we have added over there. Since I added the criteria that domain is equal to gmail.com, then it doesn't matter that what will be the owner of that record. No, if the criteria match, that record will be shared. And then we learn about the manual sharing. Manual sharing, it's a thing that it's only available in the classic, not in the lightning. Manual sharing is available in the classic. I don't know, not in the lightning. Okay, and the manual sharing, in the manual sharing, we are sharing only a single record to a group of people, or to roles, or yeah. In the manual sharing, we just have to hit the sharing button, and only this record is going to be shared with some other user. Means manual sharing is work only for the single records, and it doesn't matter that what will be the criteria applied over there, what will be the hierarchy over there, what is the ownership of the sharing. No, it doesn't matter. It will get shared with that user. So it's the same thing. You just have to here and come add, and then you just to specify roles, because we just learn about the roles, or you just want to share with some particular user. Instead of that roles, you want to share with some particular user, you just select the user, click the user, and hit the next, add the user, and then it will be shared with that user, regardless to their owner, regardless to that anything. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
That's the thing. Means it's a manual sharing is the sharing of a record, single record, to any of the people, or the roles, or people and the roles, these two things, or a group of because this public group, if you look at that, this is public group, is also a topic, small topic. It means that a group of people or a group of roles, something like, means we categorize some different types of users to a single group and share that record with that group. So it's a different thing. We will talk about that later on. Means when we discuss about the public groups, then we talk about that. What is public groups, how it's working. Right now we discuss about users and roles, and then think about that only those two things, that how we share that. And users and roles, we have a subordinate. Subordinates means it also related to that means this role, and along with that or subordinates. So we'll discuss about later on. I mean, just focus about the roles and things.
So with this sharing, we can share with something not just hierarchy up level than us, maybe lower than us. Maybe maybe or like if you are in finance, maybe finance people can share some part with marketing team using this.
Sure.
So cross sharing, that kind of different. Hierarchy only lets your managers to see, but this one you can let
anyone
cross
can see.
Anyone you choose.
Okay. Okay, let's okay, this is all about the sharing. Means this is all about the uh, permission set sharings. These are all things. This right now we just what we have discussed in last 3 days. From last 3 days, it's all about the these all last 3 days are very important topics, and these all are about the sharing, how we are doing sharing, why we are doing sharing, something like that. And from and it's a now it's wrap up, means that's the only thing. That's the only thing. It's all about the sharing, sharings and permissions and users. Permissions we discuss about more thing, means we have, as you can see that profile had so many things. So it's a means you time to time the profile will comes play a role, and explain, we will explain about that, what's the how we do the share, give the permission or revoke the permission. That's a different thing. But what's the basic idea about that, all this profiles, permissions, permission sets, and OWD, hierarchies, manual sharing, and what is that, sharing rules. These all are things contribute in a very important topics, and that we have discussed. Right now we just I'm going to move to a next topics, which is called a junction object. A junction object, first of all, it's also a important thing. A junction object, that
You are talking about JSON, you said? Sorry, I couldn't.
junction,
Junction.
junction, JUNCTION, junction.
Okay, thank you.
Junction objects. It's a kind of object. It's a kind of custom objects that that designed for a special purpose. Usually, what will happen that whenever we design a relationship in a Salesforce, what it will do? It will create a one-to-many relationship, right? It will create only one-to-many relationship in a Salesforce, right? Means suppose account is a parent of a contact, and we design a contact as a parent of an employee. These all contains a one-to-many relationship. A single contact can have a multiple employees. Yeah, it means it will always have a one-to-many relationship. But we have also have a situation that we have to create a many-to-many relationship. Many-to-many relationship means suppose in the system. Can we have an example of many-to-many relationship from you guys, where you have seen the many-to-many relationship? There is so much silence over here. Anyone who want to explain that?
Can you say?
Can explain me?
Question, what was the
Anyone just tell me the example of a many-to-many relationship.
I guess
Yeah.
like maybe under contracts there is like 10 different contracts, and maybe under accounts 10 different accounts. So like each record will be relating to other, like many contact will relate to many different accounts, kind of thing.
Many contracts can relate to many different accounts, but I think once one contract can relate to one contract is related to a one account. Means an account can have a many contract, but many contract cannot have a single account. Yeah, many contract can have a single account, but vice versa is not true. A single contract cannot have a many accounts. They have a single.
I can give you an example like book and bookstore.
Book and bookstore, yeah. Explain something.
Yeah, there are a lot of book which can be sold by a lot of, many bookstore. One book can sell two different bookstore, and bookstore can sell many book. So there is a many-to-many relationship between book and bookstore.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a correct.
Simply, you can take a simple example like customer and product. Like a single customer can purchase a number of products, and a single product can be purchased by number of customers. So it's a very simple example like many to many relationship between customer and product. So you can also understand with this example. Like yeah, if a single customer can purchase many products and a single product can be purchased by many customers, it's also a many to many relationship.
Okay. So that's yeah, that's the kind of, or any one example, anyone wants to give any other example, then also be appreciated.
How about this one? Let's consider the different department of a company. The employees at different departments, and relationship between the employees of these different departments against each other. Can we consider this as
no.
man-to-many?
Actually, a department can have a many employees, but an employees cannot have a many departments. An employee belongs to a single department, I think, always. Departments can have a many employees, that's correct, but
I think
an
what you
employee
mean,
cannot
like,
have.
relationship between all employees has relation with HR or finance.
I mean,
to get salaries, that kind of relation. Maybe not like managerial, but all employees has some relationship with different departments of the company, like finance give their salary, HR give their documents, that kind of relationship.
But it's not a quite example of a man-to-many relationship.
How about role, salary, and departments? There is a
You are
close
including three
relationship.
terms, but it should be between two terms.
Okay,
Two things.
then role and salary.
Role and salary.
Yeah.
Explain me something.
Okay. Based on your role, your salary will be increased or decreased.
Yeah. And
If your salary increase or decrease, again, you will have a better, maybe not role, but hierarchy.
no. Actually, the thing is that whenever there is a two-way, just like customer and products, or book and bookstore is also an example, or
How about person?
parts and means parts and cars, something like that.
Can we say that person and certification? For example, one person
Yeah,
can
can have
manage.
multiple certification, and a single certification can be attached to a multiple person. Yeah, that's also be example.
Yes, Raj,
So-
from my work experience, I could say that we have several insured, and then they have several insurance product. They separately purchase. So one client can carry property casualty at the same time. They could purchase, another line of another insurance. I don't want to go into technical. So it's a multiple purchase product line into one particular insured customer. Something like that.
Yeah, that can also be a good example. Because a person can have a multiple insurance, and insurance can be assigned to a multiple persons. So that's also be a good example.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty much about that. What is the many-to-many relationship? So whenever we have to design a many-to-many relationship in the Salesforce, then we have to take a help of a custom objects, and that particular custom object is called as a junction object. Junction object, why it's calling as a junction object? Because it's act between two different objects. Means suppose I want to make as your example, I want to make a many-to-many relationship between a person and an insurance. Then I have to create a junction object between them that have a relationship with the person and a insurance, so that I will create a many-to-many relationship. Similarly, for book and bookstore, means for book and bookstore, we have two different objects. One is bookstore and one is book. And when we have to create a many-to-many relationship between the book and bookstore, then we have to create a junction object between them, a custom junction object. It cannot be a standard one. a custom junction object that will have a relationship with the book and the bookstore too. Similarly, if I have to create a many-to-many relationship between the customer and a product, so because a customer can purchase multiple product and a product can be assigned to a multiple customers. So in that case, we also have to design a junction object between the product and a customer that have a relationship with the both objects. Okay, let's design just like we have employees and we have an applications, or we can say that applications that employees can apply. So we have employee can apply multiple application, and single application can be assigned to a multiple applies. So it's just a kind of a junction. It's just a kind of a when we have to design such a situation, then we have to design a junction object, and I'm going to create a junction object from here. So what we have to do, let me go to our basic thing, lightning, and there we have to create a new custom object. The process will always be the same for creating a new custom object. Just go to here and create a custom object. Okay. I'm going to create a custom object. I will name is employee applications. Okay. And here, instead of name, I will just giving an auto number. You will learn about that auto number, and here we can give the employee application. Instead of name, I will type that employee application ID. So for the auto numbers are the as you learn about that in the previous any of the IT department, you have learned in the database we have a field called auto number. Yeah, and that field, what it will do whenever the record is created, it will that number there is a number present in that field that will automatically incremented by 1. Means it's starting from the 1 or 2 or any number. Means if you're starting from the 0, then it's starting from the 0. Whenever the new record is created, it increases by 1. New record created, it automatically increases by 2. And suppose I delete the record number 2 and create a new record, then it will still maintains the number, and it will that number be a 4. Means it in a short we can say that it will just give me an incrementing unique ID or incrementing number in a record. So for that I just use for that in the Salesforce we have a field called auto number. It's a data type field, data type of it, and for that we can use the format, means in which format you want to display that field. So just like we have so employee application, so I am writing the EA, and then suppose EA, my employee application number will be EA0001, something like that, means 6 zeros, then will be 1. So I will add curly braces and I add 6 zeros. It's a format, and thereafter it will asking for the number. If I pick 1, it start from the 1, 2 and 3, something like that. It's move on increasing, and then I just go here and hit the save. Okay, I just created. Now it's a normal object. It's not called as a junction object unless and until we have to do some configuration over here so that it will become a junction object. For that we need to create a two master detail relationship. Means we need to create a master detail relationship with the that two objects who will be the parent of that, means to whom we want to create a many-to-many relationship. In our example, we need to create a many-to-many relationship between employee and application. So I want to going to relate the employee and application with this object via master detail relationship. Okay, we call it related to employee. save and new, save and create, because I need to create one more master detail relationship. And where is that application? Yeah. Now this object will be called as a junction objects. What will it do? It will help us to relate the two objects to a many-to-many relationship. How it can be do? Suppose let move to our main thing. We have employee and we have applications record. Suppose an employee here, where is that? Let Superman wants to apply to Deloitte. So I will hit new and I will assign Deloitte over here and hit save. What it will do, it will create a record. You remember our format? It's EA 6001, and since we started it number 21, so automatically it's started with a number 1. And let's add few fields over here. So for adding the few fields, you know that we just have to go to edit objects, and for the page layout we just need to add that field. So I'm going to page layout. Related here, I just have to save, and then I will add the application name, and any other field you want to add, you can add it here. Means suppose you want to add application contact name, it's also can be added. So these kind of things we can do, and hit save. Okay, so I created an application record which is attached to the Deloitte, and which is attached to, means this created an employee application record. So employee application record, which means this employee wants to apply to Deloitte. He will create that relationship. Means we just create a relation, and also if he wants to apply some other company, just like Cognizant, he can do apply over there too. So from this way, an employee can apply to two different companies or two different applications, and from the same way, as we can see that, suppose I want to assign this Deloitte to some different employee, since it is applied by one of the employees, so it's showing over here. Let's make changes in the page layout so that I can see the name of that employee. Go to that editor object, and then I go to the page layout. Employee name, where is the name? Employee application, employee city, employee domain, employee name. Let's also add some skills. You can also see that what's the value in it, and save it. Here I come back. And let's assign this application to some other employee. I also have to assign this to him. Okay, from this way, means you can see that from this is a very small thing, just you have to get the knowledge what about the junction object. So from this way, you can see that we have we can able to create a many-to-many relationship between employee and application via a third object called employee application object. And what it will do, it will help the users to create a many-to-many relationship. As you can see that this what is that to which Superman, as you can see that this person can able to apply two different application, and similarly the this application cognizant or this one. Similarly, this application can be assigned to two different people. So from this way, we can see that we have seen that we can create a many-to-many relationship between employees and application. Okay, any confusion? Or just let me move to the one more, and let me move to the one more topic. Thereafter, we will discuss about the questions. Where is a small topic called Schema Builder. As you have seen that Schema Builder, it's just a thing where we can see the relationship between the objects, where we can see the what are the fields present in objects, and from the Schema Builders we are able to create fields and new objects. Anything you want to create related to the objects, we can find it up here. Means just like the thing that here we can see that what is the relationship between the account, contact, application, and employee. And since we also created a new object called employee application, let me add that employee application. You cannot find that employee application. When I click here, you can see that employee application, since it is a master data relationship between both two objects, so it automatically, since it matters master data relationship between both objects, that's why it's coming as a red. And if it's, as you can see that it is also showing us to the same thing, that if it is a red, then it shows the master data relationship. If it is a blue, then it is a lookup relationship. And this one is for the required field. If we look at here for the fields, it shows us that which fields are required for filling up the form. Okay, and we have another option that called elements. Objects is used to see that relationship between the objects. Here you can see that what it's a filter. It's just a filter over there. It's applied the filter, means you can see standard objects, you can see custom objects, you can see system objects, these all things. So here we just apply the filter over here, and you can see the objects and their relationship in the schema. And then we have another thing called Schema Builder, sorry, elements. Elements let us to create a new fields over in the for the objects, or if you want to create a new objects, then you can also do just here and drag and drop here. Since in the you just have to fill up the form, and you have to just fill up the form and hit the save, a new object will be created. Let's just like a testing via schema. Okay, and then you can add a plural, and if you want to add a record name, it's say if you want auto number, you can add it from here. And if you, this thing we will discuss about later on, why it will be doing, how it will be doing. And just hit save. As you can see that when you hit the save, this as you also know that the whenever we create a new objects, you can 4 fields are automatically get created. It is automatically get created, and this our objects are visible here. If you want to create any new field, you just have to drag and drop it. Suppose I want to create a date field, I just over and drag it and drop it. Start date, yeah, and help test, everything. You just if you it is required, if you want to make it required, else just hit save and it will add it here. Simple. It's a very simple process to create a object. So to create an object, to create a fields or in for any object, and it is also help us to make a any changes in the page layout, means you just have to directly click out here and click on view page layout. It will redirect to the page layout. Schema builder is also very important topic. Actually, usually they ask the question about the schema builder's capabilities. Okay, so you just have to also make yourself to friendly with that.
Can we
Usually
do
they ask
master trail relationship on schema builder also?
yeah, we can do a master trail relationship. Here, yeah, where is that? Yeah, here. You just drag and drop a master detail field and do any relationship. Suppose I want to relate with my employee object. I am PLOY object here. Here I can select the employee. Yeah. You can select the employee, and hit the save. It will create a master detail relationship with the employee object. Simple. It's a simple way to create any field or objects and check the relationship between the objects. That's the only process why we are using this master data relationship. Apart from that, we have auto layout. It will just lay out everything in a way so that user can see. And we also have a view option, means what you have to say. Suppose if we click here, we can see on it labels. You can see the labels, you can see the difference. Means let me zoom so that it will be clear. Okay, let me contact, no, let me on the any custom object. Okay, you can see the labels, you can see the API names. That's the difference. And it will help you to hide or show the relationship and hide and show the legends. Okay, so that's some features available in the schema builder. It just to what is the capability? You just have to
what is legend?
Legends is just here. This section is called legend.
Siraj,
Nothing.
what is the difference between thick red line and thin one?
Where is it thick and thin?
The red.
Oh yeah, this one. There is no
bigger.
difference. If you click on that object, it will means all the relationship related to that objects that that line will become thick. Nothing else. Means suppose I click here, it will you can see that blue lines are getting thicker and red line also. It's about the selected object relationship. That selected objects relationship lines will become thicker. There is no such a difference. Yeah, there is. It shows that this is a selected and that one is not selected.
So right now, what we built, is it the one you were saying, like junction object relationship? Is this or not yet?
Yeah, it is seeing. Yeah, you remember we have created an employee application. It's a junction object between two. It's showing a master tail relationship between two.
Okay.
It's showing them, and this is our new object that we created via schema and added a field over here. That's also showing. And since the employee has a lookup relationship with the contact, that's why it's blue. Application has a master tail relationship with the contact, that's why it's red. And contact has a lookup relationship with the account, that's why it's blue.
So many means if an object has two masters, it means this is a many-to-many relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you can got it wrong. Yeah, it's a partially correct. Means many-to-many relationship. If we have a actually why we created master tail relationship. Suppose there is a situation that suppose in our contact and product information, we created suppose a contact purchases two products. Yeah, product A and product B, right? And we have a functionality, means we have and we have a situation that we need to delete that contact. So at the same time, whenever we are going to delete the contact, that all the whatever be the things that are related to the contact gets also be deleted. So at that time, master detail will help us. So whenever we delete the contact, it will get deleted. That junction objects records will also get deleted. So that's the case.
So in this case, even we delete employee applications will be deleted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a one-to-many relationship, right? Between employee application to applications and employee.
Employee application to the application. Yeah, it's a one-to-many relationship, and employee application is also one-to-many relationship. But that junction object, employee application, make the employee and application, these two objects, means this object and this object and this object. In this object and this object can be a many-to-many relationship between via this object.
Got it. Yeah. Sorry, it's a little bit late in United States. That's why the processor works very slow. CPU.
So many, like this employees, each one has like can have several applications in this employee applications, and this applications, like
Each employees can apply for the multiple application and multiple applications.
Trying to visualize the records and what's the relationship. Like,
okay,
there is like 3 employees. They are currently working in this company, and they're filling application for third party. Right? And what is this applications? What's the difference between this application and this applications? Objects.
Now we have a employee application and applications object. Yeah.
Can we open one of the records and go on the record, like employee one has, this is the application of related application.
Yeah, just
So maybe it will make clearer.
okay. We have an employee called Superman, and this employee has applied for 2 different applications, for one for the Deloitte and one for the.
This Superman is not a team name or something, right?
This information.
Like Superman, is this a team name or like a person's name?
It's a person's name.
Okay. Okay, this Superman person filled 2 different applications for 2 different companies.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at the same moment, if we look at that here, that Deloitte can be assigned to 2 different peoples. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so for Deloitte, 2 different person can apply for the same position.
Yeah.
Okay. So many-to-many means this. One person can apply many different position, and for each position, many different person can apply one job. Okay. Now better.
Any more confusions? or questions?
I think the situation for the employee here a little bit confusing. We are not talking about a single company, and some of the employees are already hired by this company, and there are some application options for some different roles in that company, and these employees already hired employees are applying to those roles.
Yeah, to those positions, or we can
Positions.
also say, yeah.
Okay.
I think this is like kind of a record of company like TCS. They have like their full-time employers. They're applying for different positions for contracts to work on the contracts, kind of like this. Like these are our company's workers, but they are applying. We have some contracts with different companies, and we are sending them to interviews with different companies if they can get accepted.
Yeah, yeah.
Like TCS or Cognizant, they do in US like that. They have like hundreds or thousands of employees. They sent the interview 5 of them. If let's say Microsoft choose 2 of them, they choose them and reject others. This is similar scenario, I think.
Yeah.
I think if you think about this employee management as a recruiting company, so they have positions, applications, and employee applications, and then different, the jobs and roles throughout the outside companies. So I think that would be easier to understand, I guess.
Yeah, that also be a good example. If you think about that, employee management as a company that who has employees as applicants, and applications are the application that are they got from the different companies, and they are and the applicants can apply to that different positions, and a single position can be assigned, or can be assigned by a different, can be assigned to a different employees or different applicants.
Right.
But for this scenario, we may have another situation. Let's say we have some applications, but those applications coming from some people who are not employed in a company, right? So we cannot create this relationship here. So we should consider this relationship through the application only for such people. Am I right?
Yeah, we are creating the relationship between application to such people, because once they comes in, there is no relationship between them.
So constructing this relationship here is important if we have some applications and the people applied to those positions already hired by some companies. Is that correct? So that's why we called those applicants as employee.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
Suraj, would you be able to provide your itinerary or syllabus that we can prepare ahead of time?
What
on our schedule?
Okay, schedules what we are going to learn afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can study particular for this, trailhead.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for bringing that. I was gonna ask as well.
Okay.
We really don't know what the content, the curriculum is gonna be.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. I will share that.
at that time, so we could practice, and if you have, some questions or, some difficulties, that we can bring it up on the session.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Siraj. You are the best. You are.
Thank you, Siraj.
Okay. Thanks. Bye. Man. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye. Have a good night.